What's going on, champs and champettes? It's FireMonkey here, and it appears that Epic Games might be stealing a feature from another video game. This is a little bit of just like an interesting introduction. Now, for people who don't know what I'm referencing, in the past like 6 years ago or something at this point, Epic Games had situations where they added stuff like the reboot van to Fortnite, and people were like, oh, Epic Games stole this from Apex Legends and stuff like that. However, in this case, it appears like Epic Games' new feature might actually have been lifted not from Apex Legends or any of those other games, but instead might have been a feature that some people might suggest is stolen from Call of Duty. And this most recent leak has come from Winsowing over on Twitter, and it seems to suggest that this right here, what we're doing, is going to be getting an upgrade. Gliding down will soon allow you to redeploy and undeploy your glider as you're coming out of the battle bus in order to drop down to the ground faster. Based on the information we know regarding leaks and all that type of stuff, it appears that the whole entire system is going to work like this. You'll go out of the battle bus, and then you'll drop down to a point that will automatically deploy your glider, but if you don't want your glider to be deployed yet and you want to actually go ahead and get closer to the ground, you'll be able to undeploy your glider and start skydiving down once again. However, once you actually activate this based on the current stages of everything in the files, it appears like you can actually end up hitting a speed velocity that's too high, where you just kind of splat on the ground because you didn't deploy your glider out in time, or if you were close enough to the ground, it wouldn't really matter anyways. You would just kind of land there like it was all just a casual Saturday or something along those lines, right? So basically it would be a whole entire situation where you'd be able to, if you wanted to, hit the ground sooner by going closer to your location, by just deciding, hey, I'm going to undeploy my glider. Now, of course, as you've gone ahead and undeployed your glider and all that type of stuff, you still would be able to redeploy it just like you can in other games like Call of Duty, as much as you would want to, so you'd be able to micro adjust your movements, get all the way down there as close as you want to the ground, and then still redeploy it and still hit the ground without worrying about taking any type of fall damage. But when I talk about this whole entire mechanic and this whole entire system, it is basically the exact system that already exists over in Call of Duty that you can use right now in Warzone, Resurgence, all those other modes that kind of exist there. And it's not like the first time we've really seen them, reference Call of Duty stuff or potentially take some pieces here and there from Call of Duty, because when they worked on the whole entire Fortnite Reload mode, in some of the surveys about the mode, they specifically mentioned not just Call of Duty Warzone, but specifically Call of Duty Resurgence in the actual Warzone mode menus and all that type of stuff. So this wouldn't be the first case of, oh, Epic Games is trying to, take some bits and pieces here from another game. Of course, there isn't any copyright over the mechanic of undeploying a glider and redeploying it. It's been seen before, it's been done in other games as well, but it is interesting to see how Epic Games is now trying to hit the drawing board once again to figure out things they could add as a future mechanic to upcoming seasons in the game. And honestly, it would kind of make sense for this whole entire mechanic to come to Fortnite, because it is something that is very useful in Warzone. I like that feature, whenever I do play Warzone on the rare blue moon or whatever, it is a feature that I do like because I like how you can micro adjust it as many times as you want. But in case you're somewhere super far away from a location, you're somewhere where you're going to want to go ahead and, get to the ground as fast as you possibly can because maybe it's a hotspot or something like that, it is something that it's available for you to do. And I know after mentioning all this type of stuff, you might be wondering, wait a minute, FireMonkey, we already kind of have this as a feature in the game. You can undeploy your glider while in the air and redeploy it. This isn't anything that new, but in case of how this whole entire system would work, it would be an improved version of that system where you wouldn't just undeploy and redeploy your glider while you're already in the sky super far away, but how when you hit that point there's a little barrier where you just can't undeploy it anymore. That would remove that restriction and allow you to risk potential fall damage or potential death right off the start of a match in order to go ahead and redeploy your glider as many times as you want. And considering the fact that they're kind of remodeling that whole system and trying to make it a little bit better, I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up seeing some changes to how gliding in general officially works across the whole entire game. I know before we've had the itemized redeploy glider and all those type of systems in the game, but this could be a cool way for them to bring back the old, redeploy your glider anywhere system, but make it so, it has a little bit more flair instead of just something where it's like, oh, you redeployed it, you're close enough to the ground, you're not able to undeploy it or anything like that. It would add that extra bit of knowledge of, oh, hey, you can technically risk it by going a little bit faster downwards, but don't get mad at us if you accidentally just kind of eliminate yourself off rip right at the start of the match. Now, they also have it set up so when this new feature comes to the game, or there's an improvement to the old feature, whatever you want to call it, it will have some added bonus sound effects. So there's going to be a danger loop sound that's going to be kind of playing, and it's going to be like a little indicator that, hey, if you don't redeploy now, you're gonna end up splatting to the ground and being dead. It's also going to be having, different sounds for skydiving, but also a stomp effect sound that's going to play when you actually land on the ground. So if you're someone who manages to, make it all the way through skydiving, you make it all the way as close as you can to the bottom, and you make it to a safe spot where you can actually go ahead and not redeploy your glider while you still hit the ground, there will be a special sound effect that actually plays. It's like, hey, look at this. This person managed to, hit the ground without taking too much damage or whatever, without like risking it too heavily, and managed to go ahead and, get a kickstart on whatever else is going on the island without having to go ahead and hit all the way down to the ground with their actual glider equipped. But with that said, hope you champs and champions enjoyed today's YouTube video. Hope it gave you all the information you need to know regarding the whole entire changes coming to skydiving and gliding in the future of Fortnite. Of course, with leaks, things are scheduled to change and we don't have all of the information right now. So is this technically a feature stolen from Call of Duty? No and yes. Technically, a feature can be stolen from any game even if they didn't intend for it, but it still is just kind of a little bit of a way to add some extra buzz to everything. Why can't I go up there? But yeah, like I was saying, it's a little bit of a way to add some extra buzz to the whole entire topic and, get a little bit of a discussion going. So feel free to talk about it in the comments down below. Until tomorrow, however, hope you champs and champions enjoyed this video. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't like it, and until then, peace out.